Now we discuss about another organelle which is found inside the cell, which is known as vacuoles. A vacuole is a membrane bound organelle which is present in plant and fungal cells and some protist animal and bacterial cells. The vacuole is filled with water, sugar, minerals, and proteins. And a question may arise in the exam whether animal cells have vacuoles. So answer is animal cells may have no or many small vacuoles. In the case of plants, most mature plant cells have one large vacuole. Here you can see that this is the picture of a plant cell and a large vacuole is present in the case of plant cells. Now another question may arise, what is the function of vacuoles? The main function of vacuole is to handle waste products or store useful substances like water, proteins, etc. that the cell will need later on. Here you see the picture of an animal cell. It is having some small vacuoles, whereas in the case of plant cell, the vacuole is quite large in size. In the case of single-celled organisms like amoeba, the food vacuole contains food items that the amoeba has consumed. Now we discuss about another organelle which is present in the case of only plant cells. Animals cells do not have plastids. Why? Let us read it. The plastid is a double membrane bound organelle. It is found in the cells of plants, algae, and other eukaryotic organisms. Like mitochondria, the plastids also have their own DNA and ribosomes. The plastids provide color to fruits and flowers. Plastids are involved in the manufacture and storage of food. Plastids are known as kitchen of the cell because plastids contain a pigment called chlorophyll, which plays an important role in the process of preparation of food by the plant cells called photosynthesis. From the picture, you will see that the plastids are of three types: chromoplast, chloroplast, and leucoplast. We will discuss it one by one. Leucoplast. These are white colored or colorless plastids. They do not participate in photosynthesis. They are primarily organelles which store foods such as starch, oils, and protein granules. Chromoplasts are colored plastids other than chloroplast, typically containing yellow or orange pigment. Now we discuss about the chloroplast. These are green colored plastids which help in the synthesis of food due to presence of chlorophyll. Chloroplasts contain chlorophyll, that is why they help in the synthesis of food. Now we will find out the difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell. First of all, we will read on the basis of the nucleus. Cells are of two types: prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. Prokaryotic cells are those cells where nuclear region is poorly defined. That in other words, we can say that nucleus is absent in the case of prokaryotic cells, whereas in the case of eukaryotic cells, a well-defined nucleus is present, which is surrounded by nuclear membrane. So we will discuss the difference between prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. First of all, the size. Size of prokaryotic cells is generally small. Eukaryotic cells are generally large. Prokaryotic cells are mostly unicellular, that is single-celled organisms. Eukaryotic cells are found in unicellular as well as multicellular organisms. Existence. Prokaryotic cells are a primitive type of cell. Eukaryotic cells are an advanced cell which have evolved from prokaryotic cell. In case of prokaryotic cells, nuclear region is poorly defined due to the absence of nuclear membrane, and the nuclear region in the case of prokaryotic cells is known as nucleoid. You can see here in this picture, this is the nucleoid, whereas in the case of eukaryotic, this is the nucleus region. This is the nucleus. In the case of eukaryotic cells, well developed nuclear region is present, which is surrounded by a nuclear membrane. It is the nuclear membrane. Organelles. Membrane bound cell organelles are absent in the case of prokaryotes. No cell organelle is present. In the case of eukaryotes, mitochondria, Golgi apparatus, lysosomes, etc. are present. Ribosomes. 70S type ribosomes are present in the case of prokaryotic cells. In the case of eukaryotic cells, 80S type ribosomes are present. Prokaryotic cells are of simple structure. In the case of eukaryotic cells, their structure is more complex. Chromosome in the case of prokaryotic cell is single, whereas eukaryotic cells have more than one chromosome. DNA nature in the case of prokaryotic cells is circular, whereas it is linear in the case of eukaryotic cells. Prokaryotic cells are found in the case of bacteria, blue-green algae, and microplasma. In case of eukaryotic cells, they are found in the case of plants, animals, and fungi. Here is the pictorial difference between the two types of cells. Now, we will understand the difference between plant cells and animal cells. This is the picture of animal cell. This is the plant cell. Animal cells are generally small in size and their shape is round or irregular. Plant cells are generally larger in size and shape is rectangular. In the case of animal cells, cell wall is not there. Outer covering is known as plasma membrane. Whereas in the case of plant cells, outer covering is known as cell wall. No chloroplast is present in the case of animal cells. However, chloroplast is present in the case of plant cells because chloroplast help in the senses of food. Animals cannot prepare their food, so chloroplast is not present in animal cells. Lysosomes, which contain digestive enzymes, are present in the case of lysosomes. This is the picture of lysosome, which is present in the case of animal cells. Plants, in the case of plant cells, lysosomes are absent. An animal cell can often change its shape. Plant cells cannot change its shape. Another point of difference is with respect to vacuoles. Animal cells contain no or small vacuoles. Whereas in the case of plant cells, a mature plant cell contains a large central vacuole. This is the vacuole which is large in size. So we will conclude this course. Our conclusion is all organisms are made of smaller parts called organs. Organs are still made of still smaller parts. The smallest living part of an organism is cell. As you know, first comes cell. From cell come tissues. Tissues form organ. Organ jointly form organ system, and many organ system join to form the organism. Cells were first observed in cork by Robert Hooke in 1665. Cells exhibit a variety of shapes and sizes. Number of cells vary from organism to organism. Some cells are big enough to be seen with naked eye. Hence, egg is an example. Some organisms are single-celled, while other organisms contain large number of cells. Single cell in the case of unicellular organism performs all the basic functions like eating, moving, reproduction, etc. Whereas in the case of multicellular organisms, all these functions are performed by a variety of cells. The cell has three main parts, which is plasma membrane, cytoplasm, and nucleus. Nucleus is separated from the cytoplasm by the outer covering, which is known as nuclear membrane. Cells without well organized nucleus, that is lacking nuclear membrane, are called prokaryotic cells. Plants differ from animal cells as they have an additional covering around the cell membrane. This is cell membrane, this is the cell wall in case of plant cells. Green plastids containing chlorophyll are called chloroplasts. Plant cells has a large central vacuole, whereas animal cells have no or many small vacuoles. Thanks for watching. If you like our course, please spare some time to give a star rating to our course.